from Missouri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just still kind of trying to understand the connection between our ICE officers and the Gestapo. I think the statement was horrific. The acting ICE director had this to say: on the final day of National Police Week, when those brave enough to put on a badge and a uniform to mourn their fallen brothers and sisters, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz referred to my professional, hardworking ICE agents and officers as a modern-day Gestapo. This is abhorrent, dehumanizing, and ignorant comments should not be tolerated. It seems that Mr. Walz prefers violent criminal aliens are released into Minnesota's communities. If the governor doesn't like the laws, he's free to advocate that Congress change them, but he should refrain from putting ICE officers in danger by likening them to one of the most appalling groups in history. Assaults against ICE officers are up over 400% from this time last period. And part of that is because politicians like Governor Walz are careless with their politically motivated rhetoric. He should issue an immediate apology to the men and women protecting his communities. Governor Hochul, do you agree with the statements that Governor Walz said? Do you agree with the characterization that ICE agents are Gestapo?
I don't use language like that in describing anyone. My view is that we respect our law enforcement, but also in a case where people have gone too far, they should be called out.
Do you agree with that association? Associating ICE officers with Gestapo?
It's not a word I would use, but I will say that I understand the sentiments that people feel.
Okay, well, thank you for being reasonable here. Next door, Governor Walz, is a group called, they were actually meeting here today, the Zionist Organization of America. And I spoke with Morton Klein, who is their national president, and he had this to say. He wanted me to read this to you. As a child of Holocaust survivors who lost almost my whole family to Gestapo Nazis, I find Governor Walz comparing Americans to ICE officials to Nazis a dramatic insult. Walz should be ashamed of himself, and I demand that he retract and apologize for this ugly, phony statement that diminishes the horror of the Holocaust. So I'm going to give you another chance, Governor Walz. Do you apologize for your comparison to ICE agents as Gestapo?
Thank you, Mr. Burlison. What I said is using a historical reference on authoritarianism, watching in my state and across this country,
Governor Walz, it's a simple question.
Covered faces.
Will you apologize to this Jewish community? Will you apologize to Jewish Americans?
I don't know Mr. Klein. I would certainly be glad to speak with him if he would
Mr. Walz, let me ask you this question. Are there any events that you regret from actions of illegal immigrants in your state? Are there any events that come to mind that you think of that weigh on you?
I certainly think any something that harms someone, all of
So let me give you an idea. Minnesota, your state, April 25th, ICE arrested an illegal alien from Ecuador charged for criminal sexual conduct with a child. Again, in Minnesota, on May 8th, ICE arrested an illegal alien from Mexico for selling heroin, meth, and fentanyl. Mr. Pritzker, in Chicago, in 2018, an illegal alien from Mexico is charged with aggravated criminal sexual abuse of a minor, then was released back into the public in 2022. And then Governor Hochul in New York, again, a Mexican national was charged, but this time for slashing a victim with a machete, and then released in January of this year, all ignoring ICE detainers and federal warrant. Mr. Walz, would you deport any of these individuals?
Could you give the names of the individuals and what they're...
I can get those to you, but if these are true, if somebody from Ecuador was charged with criminal sexual conduct with a child, would you want that person deported?
If they followed through due process and were found guilty, certainly. That's what we do now. We follow federal law.
You know, your states refuse to honor ICE detainers, even for illegal aliens convicted of serious crimes like assault or sexual offenses. The ICE data shows that 56,791 illegal aliens booked for serious offenses in 2025 alone, including over 3,000 for sex crimes. And that's why we're here today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes Mr. Crane from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.